Welcome to Headstones and Microphones, where we use AI to step into the past through a researched, first-person simulation of history's most interesting people. I am your host, Calvin. While we've added some creative storytelling, our goal is to inspire your own study of these fascinating lives. Now, let's meet our guest. We are absolutely thrilled today to welcome an incredibly vibrant, unforgettable talent from the 90s and 2000s screen. For those who may somehow not know who you are, who are you?
I'm Brittany Murphy. You might remember me as Ty from Clueless, or maybe voicing Luann Platter on King of the Hill, or running around with Eminem in 8 Mile. Just a girl who loved to perform with every single ounce of her heart.
A true legend. Take us back to the very beginning. When and where were you born?
I was born on a beautiful autumn day, November 10th, 1977, right in the energetic city of Atlanta, Georgia.
And what was your given name at birth? Is there a story behind it?
My birth name was Brittany Ann Bertolotti. The surname came from my father, Angelo Bertolotti, who was of Italian descent. But after my parents divorced when I was just a little toddler, my amazing mother, Sharon Murphy, raised me all on her own. I eventually took her last name professionally because she was truly my entire world and my biggest cheerleader.
Your mum sounds like an incredible woman. What was your hometown like growing up?
Well, after the divorce, my mom and I packed up and moved up north to Edison, New Jersey. Growing up there was a mix of classic suburban life and a lot of commuting back and forth to New York for auditions and classes. It was a cozy place to lay my head, but my eyes were always fixed on the bright lights of the stage.
And what was your family life like with your mum?
It was a single-parent household, just the two of us against the world. We were exceptionally close. Money was definitely tight, and looking back, I honestly don't know how she swung it financially. But she held down advertising and sales jobs and always made sure I could take my dance and music classes. I also had 2 older half-brothers and a younger half-sister from my dad's side. But day to day, it was the Sharon and Brittany show.
It sounds like you're a performer from day one. What kind of kid were you?
Oh, I was an absolute ball of energy, a total born performer. From the time I was about 4 years old, I was training in singing, dancing, and acting. If there was a camera, a microphone, or a living room rug, I was putting on a show. I just loved making people happy and entertained.
Did you have any big fears growing up?
You know, school could actually be quite scary for me sometimes. I had a pretty tough time in regular school. I was always the shortest girl in class, and kids can be mean. They used to pick on me to death about my size and the clothes I wore. My biggest fear back then was just not fitting in or being rejected by my peers.
Kids can be ruthless. What did you dream of becoming back then?
If you asked 9-year-old Brittany what she wanted to be, I would have looked you dead in the eye and said, Madonna. I wanted to be a massive singing star, perform on Broadway, and act in major feature films. I actually did a local TV news interview when I was 9 during a community theater production and told the reporter right then and there that I was going to be a movie actress.
Talk about manifesting. What were some of your favorite activities in school?
Anything involving the arts. I trained at the Vern Fowler School of Dance and Theater Arts in New Jersey, which I loved. Whenever I could do musical theater, sing in a production like Les Miserables, or do a play like Really Rosie, I was completely in my element.
What was your first job in the industry?
Before the big TV shows, my first real professional gigs were television commercials. I got to do ads for Pizza Hut and Skittles, which was just the most thrilling thing for a kid.
Was there a specific moment where you realized you were different from everyone else?
It was probably around that time when I was 12 or 13. I was going to auditions, and while other kids were focused on school dances or sports, my brain was entirely consumed by storytelling and acting. I felt this intense, burning drive to entertain that most kids my age just didn't relate to.
What's a decision that changed everything for you, but felt small at the time?
When I was 13, I went out to Los Angeles with a chaperone to try out for pilot season. I went to audition after audition and kept getting rejected. I was so distressed and depressed. I called my mom sobbing and asked if we could just move to LA permanently. It felt like a massive gamble, but she said yes, sold absolutely everything we owned, and we packed up. Within just a week of making that move, I landed my very first steady Hollywood role as Brenda Drexel on the sitcom Drexel's Class.
Wow, your mum's faith in you paid off. What would you say was your biggest break?
Oh, hands down, Clueless in 1995. I was barely 17 years old when we started filming, making me the youngest member of the cast. Playing Ty Frazier completely altered the trajectory of my career. Going from a regular teenager to being part of this massive pop culture phenomenon was surreal and wonderful.
What were your biggest struggles before that massive success?
After Drexel's Class got canceled, there was a long stretch where I couldn't get a steady part. I did a short-lived show called Almost Home and guest starred on a bunch of series like Blossom, Frasier, and Party of Five, but it was a lot of financial instability and wondering if I'd ever find my defining role.
Did you ever consider quitting during those dry spells?
Never. Not even for a single second. The fire in my belly was just too bright. My mom had sacrificed everything for us to be in California, and I loved the craft too much to ever throw in the towel.
Did you have any daily habits or routines that were essential to your success?
I was someone who ran on pure passion, but my ultimate routine was just reviewing my scripts with my mom. She was my acting partner at home, helping me run lines and stay grounded.
What job do you think you would have had if fame never happened?
If I couldn't be in front of the camera, I think I still would have ended up somewhere in the arts. Maybe a dance instructor for children, or working behind the scenes in theater production. I just had to be near the magic of performance.
What was your life like right before the fame of Clueless really hit?
It was a lot of hard work, tutoring on set because I couldn't attend a regular high school, and just living a very quiet life with my mom in our apartment, crossing our fingers at every audition.
How did your relationships change after you found success?
It certainly gets a lot busier. Suddenly, you're going to high-profile premieres and meeting big stars. I dated some wonderful people in the industry, like Ashton Kutcher after we filmed Just Married. It makes your world much bigger, but it can also make it harder to know who your real friends are.
Did fame bring you true happiness?
Fame itself is just a byproduct. The true happiness came from the work, being on a set, collaborating with brilliant actors, and hearing from fans who loved the characters I played. But fame also brings a lot of heavy pressure.
What was the downside of becoming famous for you?
The constant scrutiny. In the mid-2000s, I lost a lot of weight, and the media was incredibly harsh. There were so many rumors about eating disorders or substances, which I constantly denied. It was tough having my changing body discussed by strangers when I was just struggling with my own self-image and trying to transition from the quirky sidekick to a Hollywood leading lady.
What do you think was something people most misunderstood about your life?
People often thought that because I was always bubbly, smiling, and energetic on the red carpet, my life was an effortless breeze. But I fought a lot of private battles with self-doubt and the overwhelming pressure to look a certain way to keep getting roles in Hollywood.
Who had the single biggest influence on your life?
My mother, Sharon, without a doubt. She was my rock, my manager, my best friend, and the person who showed me what unconditional love looks like.
What was life like in your final years, and what were you working on right before you passed away?
Life in my late 20s became a bit quieter. I married a British screenwriter named Simon Monjack in 2007, and we lived together in the Hollywood Hills with my mom. I was still acting, doing independent movies like a psychological thriller called Deadline, and voicing Luann on King of the Hill, right up until the end of its run. My final film project was a movie called Something Wicked.
When, where, and how old were you when you passed away?
I passed away on December 20th, 2009 at my home in Los Angeles. I was only 32 years old. It happened very suddenly after I had been suffering from severe flu-like symptoms. The coroner later determined that it was due to acute pneumonia, complicated by severe iron deficiency anemia, and the legal, over-the-counter, and prescription medications I was using to treat my illness. It was a tragic, preventable medical accident.
It truly broke the hearts of millions. To lighten things up a bit, what's a random fact about you most people have never heard?
I was actually a wildly talented lip syncer and mimic. I could imitate almost anyone's voice or accent after hearing it just a few times, which really came in handy for my voiceover work.
What was your favorite food or favorite restaurant back then?
Oh, I absolutely loved comfort food. Give me a big plate of regular old French fries or a good pizza any day of the week.
Did you have any known rivalries in Hollywood?
Oh gosh, no. I was a lover, not a fighter. I always tried to lift up the other actresses around me. There was enough room in Hollywood for all of us to shine.
What advice would you give to young people chasing their own success today?
Never let anyone dim your light or tell you that you're too small, too loud, or too different. Drill down into what makes you unique, protect your spirit, and love the people who stood by you before anyone else knew your name.
Beautifully said. Brittany, do you have any closing remarks about the interview or the stories you shared that you would like to share with our listeners before we sign off?
Just that it has been an absolute joy to step back and share a laugh with you, Calvin. To everyone listening, thank you for remembering me, for watching my movies, and for keeping my memory alive with so much love. Keep smiling, be kind to one another, and thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you, Brittany. It was an honor. And that wraps up another conversation from Beyond the Grave. Thanks for joining us on the Headstones and Microphones podcast. Remember, legends may die, but their stories never do. Please help spread the word by sharing and following the pod.